One of the most popular ways of weight loss that we see trending a lot on Instagram today is OMAD diet. Can you tell us what exactly is this diet?
It is one meal a day. One meal a day severely restricts our calorie intake.
Oh my god.
So, which then means that through one meal a day, hey, I get to eat pizza and I'm still losing weight. All such very amazingly lucrative looking things, too good to be true things don't last. Contrary to what is the popular notion, you don't end up losing a lot of fat. You end up losing a lot of muscle. Serious fallout of this kind of dieting is that it completely changes your relationship with food. Food no longer remains nourishing, it no longer remains joyous, it also makes you feel guilty.
If I take proteins and work out, will that work?
Hello and welcome to Ask Amita podcast series. You all asked for our nutrition podcast in English, and well, we had to hear you, and we are bringing the same podcast but now in English, where we will answer all of your nutrition questions, bust a lot of myths and give you practical advice. I have with me Aishwarya. She is going to pose questions that come to your mind about various topics, be it one meal a day or diabetes, glucose management, name it, and we will be covering it all. So Aishwarya, over to you. What are we going to talk about today?
Yes. So everyone wants to know what is the best way or the fastest way to do weight loss. Okay. So one of the most popular ways of weight loss that we see trending a lot on Instagram today is OMAD diet, which is basically one meal a day, as you just spoke. So let's start talking about that today. And can you tell us what exactly is this diet?
Yes, we can definitely talk about that. But was this like the most searched term for weight loss currently? Trending?
Yes.
Oh my god. Okay. What is OMAD? It is one meal a day. Essentially, it's self-explanatory. You are going to be eating only one meal per day. Now, this becomes super attractive to people as an option because you might have seen even a lot of celebrities and movie stars talking about it on different podcasts, that being all the rage right now. And they all say that, when we do one meal a day, I think we also had Karan Johar speak about it on one podcast. So what happens in that is, why does it seem so attractive, is because all of these people are talking about OMAD as one solution that they used to drop weight significantly. Okay, and of course, just like everything else, where it comes to weight loss also, we want things to happen super quickly and we want things to be done instantaneously. One meal a day severely restricts our calorie intake.
Okay.
We all already know, where it comes to weight loss, that it always operates on the premise of a calorie deficit. What is a calorie deficit? It is simply you burning or spending more calories than what you are eating. Or the reverse, the converse is also true, where you eat far less calories than what you are burning. What one meal a day does is, it operates on the converse premise, wherein you are restricting your calorie intake so much so that you have a deficit between what is your basic energy expenditure versus what you are taking in. Why does one meal a day seem so attractive? Is because it seems to people that it doesn't have any rules per se.
Yes.
All that I have to do is eat whatever I want to, but just once a day.
Once a day.
Okay. Now, why does one meal a day or OMAD seem so lucrative and attractive to people? Is because the general notion is that you can eat whatever you want to. All that you have to do is you just have to eat this once.
Yes.
Okay. Which then means or can imply to someone that I can eat a biryani, I can eat a pizza, I can have a full chocolate cake till the time I'm having it only once a day.
Right.
Now, on principle, if you look at it, if I was someone who was constantly eating a very high calorie diet, typically if you look at any urban person right now in India who is not really being mindful of how much they are eating and how many calories they are eating, they would be easily exceeding their basic like calorie requirement by around 2000 calories very easily. Okay.
Okay.
Which is why we are also seeing a steady and continuous rise in the obesity as well as the diabetes epidemic in our country. Now what happens is, when you, instead of say the 2400 calories that you need in a day, if you are someone who's been having around 4500 calories every single day, now this same person is going to reduce it to just one meal, right? Which means that even if that say entire cake that you're eating or the pizza that you're eating, even if the whole thing, a very ginormous pizza, amounted to around 3000 calories, I would still be in a deficit. Why? Because while earlier I was eating around 4500 calories and every day, now I'm eating 3000 calories, right? My exercise or my every daily activities have not changed. But what I did was, I did a converse wherein I reduced my calorie intake. So, which then means that through one meal a day, hey, I get to eat pizza and I'm still losing weight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
But of course, all such very amazingly lucrative looking things, too good to be true things, don't last. Okay? So, your body is going to catch up to this concept of one meal a day, or is going to catch up to this idea or the entire endeavor that you are trying to do. Your body is going to know that you are trying to lose weight. Okay. What happens when you are not increasing your energy expenditure, when you are not say doing any exercise, but you just continue to drop your calories? What happens with that is, your body then reduces your basal metabolic rate. Okay. Now your basal metabolic rate is the basic say energy that we are spending even as we are sitting or as we are talking or even as we are sleeping. That's your BMR. Now the moment your body catches up to the idea that you're trying to lose weight by severely restricting your calorie intake, there's no other food coming any other time of the day. At best you are eating only 0 calorie, like you are having 0 calorie beverages, okay? And you're just going to have that one large meal as part of your OMAD. Your body is going to say that, hey, looks like you're trying to take my energy stores away, okay? Now obviously what happens as a result of this is that your BMR is dropping, but the weight that you are losing, a large part of it is weight, like muscle weight that you are losing. Yeah. So in one meal a day, contrary to what is the popular notion, you don't end up losing a lot of fat. You end up losing a lot of muscle. And that's because you are not doing anything to preserve the muscle mass. You are not working out. Okay. So which is why, or which is how, one meal a day is nothing but yet another calorie deficit. It's nothing fancy. You're just severely limiting your calorie intake. And what will happen, I'm sure a lot of you might have tried the OMAD diet earlier, and you might have noticed that while in the first week you were able to eat whatever you fancied, the next week you might have seen that the weight will not drop or did not drop as much as you would have anticipated because of the food choices, and then you had to eventually eat lower calories in the week after, and this continues. So you come to a point where your body then is going to be like, I am going to become super efficient about conserving my energy expenditure, and which is why what I am going to do now is I will not expend any energies. So within the one meal a day that you are eating, you will have to continue to eat lesser and lesser calories. So if earlier you were able to eat like a large 3000 calorie pizza in your one meal a day, you will eventually come to a situation where your meal now becomes only around 500 to 1000, 1000 to 500 calories, because if you eat more than that, you are not going to see a change on the weighing scale.
Oh my God. Okay, so over the time, it is not as beneficial as people think it is.
It isn't. Also because it's not truly sustainable, right? I mean, Imagine that if I am on the OMAD or I am on this diet, and what if I want to meet my friends or I have a wedding to attend to? So then either I am going to not eat anything, I'm going to watch them eat whatever they are eating, if I'm at a wedding or whatever, or I'm going to starve myself the whole day to be able to eat that one dinner.
Right, right.
Okay, and now what that is going to do is even more important, or a more serious fallout of this kind of dieting is that it completely changes your relationship with food. Food no longer remains nourishing, it no longer remains joyous, it also makes you feel guilty. You're constantly looking at food as only calories, and you are eventually constantly looking at food as something which is going to enable or disable you from reaching what is your goal weight, which oftentimes, as we've already seen, is a notion which is very flawed, because people invariably think that they need to be far more leaner than what actually is their ideal weight. So you also have a big risk of orthorexia emerging from the one meal a day diets.
Okay. Is there any particular, so like in intermittent fasting, there is a particular time frame that you have to eat or not eat. So in this OMAD diet, is there any particular time that you have to follow? You can eat whenever, like either in the morning or at night?
You can eat whenever you want to. Most people, they have their lunch, and then because it's the middle of the day, so it's easier to adhere to.
Okay.
And others, there are some who are more hungry for dinner, so then they will have their dinner only as the one meal a day, and the rest of them they will starve through the day. So that's how they do it. It's up to you, because essentially it's not really based on any principle of, say, your circadian rhythm or any such thing.
Okay.
Not at all. It's simply you dropping your calorie intake.
You also spoke about people having some zero-calorie beverages throughout the day when they're not eating. So what can you tell us a little more about that?
So zero calorie beverages like, say, chamomile tea or diet, so soft drinks that you have, or even say things with sweeteners like you have nimbu pani, but with a 0-calorie sweetener added to it, like that.
Okay.
That's how they keep the hydration levels up. And because if you look at say our hunger cues, a lot of times we also see that most people, they eat when they're actually thirsty. So here you're again doing the converse, wherein you are drinking when you're actually hungry.
Okay.
So that's how you end up, feeling full, because that much water going into you is going to make you feel full for a little while, and it also distracts you from the hunger cues that you were getting.
Okay. Another thing, so what if I have only a protein whenever I'm doing the OMAD diet? What if I have only the protein, say some chicken or eggs, or say like a protein shake or something, and then work out with it? So you said that generally the muscle goes away more quickly than the fat. So if I take proteins and work out, will that work?
See, if you had to meet your protein requirements while being on OMAD, imagine that you are a 60 kg person and you need to maintain your muscle mass, you need 60 grams of protein. Okay. So you could very well have 2 scoops of protein and like any protein supplement, and with that eat a little food and work out. That would be one way of going about it, and you could end up preserving some muscle mass and dropping fat mass if you're also combining it with your exercise, like your resistance training, and you're doing fat burning exercise like long distance walking or even running. But the question always remains is that it's not truly sustainable.
Right.
Because no one ever says that this is what my lifestyle is. Okay. Although I know of people who have now, since the past 3-4 years, been continuously only on one meal a day. Okay. That is the lifestyle that they are living. Okay. But the fallout of that oftentimes is constipation, or is you not being able to sleep better at night, or you having a high ESR levels, like it's one blood marker.
Okay.
So you having higher ESR levels, or you constantly being scared of eating, or you worrying that, oh my God, if they offer me something, then what? Then it will break my fast, or it will break my diet. All of that. So It's not a really healthy way of losing weight, in my opinion. You can achieve the same thing by eating regular, proper meals. You can achieve calorie deficit. We do it all the time for so many people by, simply eating right and exercising. That way, you also end up preserving your muscle mass. You can actually get stronger while dropping fat, and it also doesn't take the joy away.
People are talking a lot about glucose spikes and insulin spikes nowadays. So if you're not eating when you're doing the OMAD diet, your glucose wouldn't spike is what many people think. So what exactly would it help diabetes or people with such diseases?
See, if you have diabetes and you are considering one meal a day, I would caution you against it, because when you have diabetes, you have a very, very real risk of getting hypoglycemia. Okay. Now, the risk of hypoglycemia, or what hypoglycemia can do to you, is far worse than, say, a small blood glucose spike. All right. So that's number one. The second thing is, when you have diabetes, what you have to be managing is not just how much your blood glucose is going up, but the whole, how the graph is showing through the day in terms of the blood glucose spikes. In this case, what's going to happen is your sugar will keep on dropping, and the lower it drops, the higher is going to go when you eat something.
Okay.
Okay, because it's simple, you're going to have so much insulin packed up when your body thought that you were going to be eating something, but no food came in. So you have that insulin already in the bloodstream, and now when you eat, there's going to be that much, again, more insulin being secreted. So that's how your insulin levels are going to go up. But the threshold, that the spike threshold, is also going to be breached oftentimes if the meal that you are eating is not balanced. So it's not a good idea for anyone with diabetes to go on any kind of fasting, for that matter, especially if you are taking medications. If you are on insulin, then you need to be eating, because hypoglycemia is really a dangerous situation.
Okay. Can you also let the viewers know if the OMAD diet would help in autophagy?
Autophagy is the real big term that's being thrown around by all fasting proponents of late. Now, see, autophagy is something which can be very easily achieved, or rather more efficiently achieved, even with exercise.
Okay.
Okay. Now, exercise is the real autophagy tool. Fasting, or one meal a day, or not eating, is going to give you only, say, a small benefit, and that too we don't have convincing evidence for that. Okay, that there is going to guaranteed change your cellular matter, or that is going to bring about say a big change in your at the tissue level. We don't have enough evidence for that, but we do know that when you are speaking of exercise, that is much better in terms of your longevity, in terms of your growth hormones, in terms of you having, like, say, an anti-aging option, because that is what everyone wants. And of course, as being one solution where you are going to be tackling the free radicals in your body, or even essentially gaining more muscle mass, which is going to put you in better stead in the long run. So it's overrated.
I hope you've all understood that this OMAD diet is just another weight loss trend and not the sustainable way to go.
This Ask Amita series is super new. We have done this, or we are trying to do this, simply because you all asked for it. It would be really disheartening if you all don't watch this, don't share it with your friends, or you don't subscribe. So please subscribe for this. That's the only favor I will ask of you. Share this with everyone, subscribe and follow us everywhere. See you soon with the next episode. Let us know in the comments what new topics would you like us to cover.